Generic Demon. And this is What's on the Tape, Season 6, Volume 14. This is actually the continuation of this tape from last week. This is the one that we had that was there. This is the side 2 of it. I know side 2 is full of data, so we'll see what's in there. It does actually only say on there River Raid. I think it's the only thing it actually says on this one for the side 2. Oh no, I forgot about that. There's a bit on the inside. So it says River Raid, 48A, etc. And it also says on the inside there, we've got River Raid, Saber Wolf, Penetrator, Street Hawk, and the key. And I remember discussing the key before, that there was the thing with the key was it was a way to copy games. You loaded it into memory, and then you loaded the game in, and then it would allow you to resave those games. But it was a perfect copy. It wasn't like tape to tape where there could be sort of a bad output. It was an absolutely perfect copy. So it's a brilliant thing. But the one thing I wanted to mention is last week we had this list here: Hunchback, Space Intruders, Mr. Wimpy, Kong, Transversion, the Missile Defense, Ool, Dennis, which turned out to be Dennis Thatcher, Through the Drinking Glass, a bit of a parody of the time, Moonbird, Buggy, Spectra, and Meteor Storm, and Timegate. And I'd like to point out that Mel LaBelle successfully identified what compilation it came from, because it came with this computer records. And I have actually found my copy. This is the actual copy that I have of it. So this is the side that was on the first side. I don't know if it was a full game, a full sort of sold game. I'm going to guess it was, because it actually says at the top here, as seen on TV. If you see the little finger moving up and down top there. So I have a feeling that this was actually sold sort of generally to sort of everybody. So, but I thought it was quite interesting, because there's computer records at the top corner. It seems like it was the only one they did. It was a compilation mainly of 16K games, as Mel pointed out to me in the comments. But it was. I was quite surprised. There's nothing else in the inlay. It's just this bit here saying, select one is unique. It contains 12 different machine-coded games on just one cassette. From space to puzzling adventures, Select One provides thrills on a wide range of challenges to test your skills, whatever your standard. And there we go. And down at the bottom there, it also says it's available on the Commodore 64. And it was a collection compiled in association with the people, though. So that Anrog, or whatever they're called, Anrog, Ocean, Bugbite, application software, and Quicksilver. That's the thing that Apple make, don't they, for their videos? But yeah, Quicksilver. 12 hits from top software houses, all originally released at full price games. And there we go. Records, software, computer records. I thought it was kind of cool. And it was kind of cool that I found it as well. It was on the shelf right in front of me, would you believe? When I actually turned round, and there it was sitting on the shelf. So yeah, that was the select one that was there. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to get this in a tape drive. Okay, the tape is in the drive, and we're going to go for the old load dit. So let's get that on basic, and we'll do load dit. Now, if this tape actually has what it's got written on it, we should be first up River Raid, but we'll see, because there's something been crossed out here. It could actually just be River Raid crossed out again. It says River Radio, maybe. River Dude? My eyesight's terrible. Anyway, let's have a little look and see what we got on this first one. So load it, push the button, and let's press the play, and let's go for it. So, been interesting Spectrum journeys kind of this week. If you remember last week, I said my poor Sensei is broken. I'd broken it was actually there we go. River Raid was actually broken. It was basically the post that goes down that pushes a lever that puts the play in position had snapped. Very poor design, very old, to be honest with you. This plastic actually had a little notch in it, and basically had worn away over time, and then snapped at the weakest sort of point. So I swapped the buttons around and then put that together, and when I was looking at it, I noticed there was a capacitor that was kind of bulging. So when I pushed the play, although it played, the mechanism doesn't seem so happy now. It's a typical thing
thing, really. Once you take something so old apart, it just doesn't seem to want to go back together again. So there was no sound. It couldn't record. It could rewind. It could fast forward. The play was kind of It wasn't the best thing in the world. It just doesn't seem to be happy. So now it's a project. It's now become a project. I'm going to basically get another couple of capacitors that are on the thing. I might as well just replace them all. And because the solder and the joints are massive, even I can't mess that up. It's been a long time since I've soldered anything. I used to solder things back in the 80s. Mainly, I used to make joysticks. So I'd get you if you had a. You remember the old Quick Shot 2 ones, the Spectra ones, I think they were called once you got them out. Was it Spectra was the name of the make and model? Anyway, I used to get those out, and basically I would get those kind of things out of the box, and then I would actually drill a small hole into the case itself. So this is because, and I'll explain my reasoning behind this. I used to drill a hole into these things because I wasn't smart enough really to disconnect it, but also meant I could still use the joystick, so you still have the joystick there. So I used to drill a hole into the side of it, and then run a cable out, and I used to, because they had screws on the heads of the sort of, they're not exactly micro switches, they were just metal panels that went up and down and touched screws. Because the screws had sort of, were there, I just needed a number of wires to attach to those screws. So then I'll do that, and then at the other end, I'd get a bunch of little micro switches, little sort of like little round dot ones that you used to get. Those bad example, but little sort of round dots, and then I'd position them not as the traditional sort of D-pad thing. I would be like QA, OP, and M or space, depends on what you want. But so that position for your two fingers on it, and I'd get a little clamshell box, because I had quite a few of those knocking around. I don't know why I had clamshell boxes lying around, but I used to have a few of those, and basically drill holes in the clamshell, screw those micro switches in there, solder the bottoms of those to that, and you ended up with basically it was like a two-fold joystick, so you could use it like a proper sort of joystick for shooting, for sort of flight sim games with sort of going up and down, left and right, and all that kind of stuff. And then on the other side, you had this other little connection that came out with another cable to it that you could use up, down, left, right. And because it was on that little square box, it's kind of the perfect size for that clamshell box, and you could basically move the keys and whatever else. My friends loved it. Whenever they came around the house and they had to use a joystick, they'd be like, I want to use that one. That's the joystick I want to use. I don't want to use anything else. So it was a very, very, very popular joystick, bizarrely. And we never used, the funny thing is, we barely used the joystick part of it. We used to use my sort of add-on sort of micro switch sort of the little square box early sort of the D-pad type thing. So yeah, that was what we used to do. So I've just been shouted on, so I'm going to have to pause for a second. We'll hopefully River Raid will load. So hang on a second, I'll do that, and I'll be back in a second. Hopefully it'll be loaded by the time you come back. Okay. Right, sorry about that. Back again. I'd forgotten to do something in the garden. I was getting a bit wrong for it, unfortunately. I wasn't cut the lawn quite, but I needed to clean something up that I was meant to clean up that the dogs had done in the garden, and I hadn't. So I was kind of getting a little wrong for that. Anyway, it's quite interesting, this one though, River Raid. I mean, it's basically it's not a bad conversion actually for the Spectrum. This is the River of No Return. Isn't that a great name for it? And it has bridges that are crossing it. It basically goes on forever. It's an Atari game. I think it came out on the ColecoVision. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but that was the first thing that came out. I didn't even know what a ColecoVision was, by the way, until I started sort of back in the retro community. Something completely passed me by. But anyway, so this is a sort of a flying shoot 'em up where you basically fly a little plane going down the river, blowing up the bridges forever. And it was featured on Dads and Lads Gaming. I'll put a link in the description below to their channel, because they're really quite nice people, to be honest with you. And Marcus, who's the dad, absolutely crushed Tommy, his son, who's I think he's 15 or 16. Either way, he completely, or he might be younger actually. It's not far off. He's a teenager anyway, and his dad completely crushed him when playing this game. So I tried to do the same with my daughter, who spat the dummy. Oh no! It's crashed. You can't crash. We just loaded. Out screen out. No, we just got loaded and we crashed. Oh, that's not very good. And you know what? We're gonna play that one, so I'm gonna rewind it. Oh no, I'm not, because to be fair, this tape's something wrong with this tape. It's very heavy. It seems not to do it. Right. definitely at the end, right? We're going to put the Spectrum version. I actually have this on Firebird. It came out on a Firebird label, so I actually have that. It's quite a good game, really, where you fly down the thing. So we will definitely do that one. I'll put it at the end, and we'll get to that at the end. We'll just carry on with this tape. That's the end of that thing, because I rewound it 2 seconds, and we'll carry on and see what we've got. So we should have Saberwolf next, is where we're actually going to with the next thing. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, a little bit of momentary intermission there. But yes, as I say about my joystick, though, my friends, everybody wanted to play on that. If they could play on it, they could play on it, because also it solved a lot of problems. You didn't have to redefine the keyboard. So if you had a game where the keyboard wasn't the usual sort of that kind of position, you got kind of used to that position, didn't you, on the keys? I remember that Horace and the Spiders had a slightly different positioning on their keys. They're not Horace. Yeah, Horace and the Spiders. That's correct. It was an IP. And QZ, so they were kind of a larger sort of size for your fingers, which is probably more realistic for an adult than a child. So they were kind of more spread. But everybody really, once I made this little thing up with these keys sort of laid out on it. It's a shame. It's gone. It's like everything else on the Spectrum. It was sold for pennies at a car boot sale back in the 90s. When I was off at well, no, it wasn't when I was off at university. It was after I got back from university and moved out with my then girlfriend, now wife, and basically I'd moved out with her, and you get that call, and it doesn't seem to matter to you then when you're kind of in your sort of mid-20s and with a girlfriend and a place and all the other stuff that goes with that, and you say to yourself, that's fine, that's absolutely fine. We've got but you get that call that says, do you want your Spectrum? We're going to take it to a car boot sale, and you go, no, that's fine, just go sell it. Because by then, you see, I was into PCs, and that's what I'd done at university, and it was all about cutting edge stuff for me and all that kind of stuff, not the nostalgia that's attached to the ZX Spectrum, and that's really what happened. And the same occurred for my wife, who happened to be, I know this is terrible. I feel really bad. I mean, there's minus points for her here. Was a Commodore user, and her parents did her dad did exactly the same. Do you want that thing in your bedroom? No, I don't need it anymore. Don't need that thing. Gives it to the next door neighbour. Would probably way out of date at that point, and not much use. And forgets to give them the software, which was the best part about that story. Because years later, he said, "Do you want these music tapes?" And wife looks at them and goes, "They're not music tapes, they're Commodore tapes. What did you give to the neighbour's daughter?" He said, "Just the computer." So, poor neighbour's daughter didn't actually have anything, and I don't know if it was at the time, I can't remember when, it probably was at the time when it would be really hard to get hold of Commodore stuff. I guess you could have got car boot sales and all this kind of stuff. And that's probably where it ended up, either that or the bin, unfortunately, but that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? When you're that kind of age, you don't really care about this technology, but when you look back, sort of in your later sort of your 30s and your early 40s and whatever else it is, you look back and you go, oh god, I wish I had that. It's one of these things, isn't it? There's been a video response. I've done one of these that we're doing the rounds at the moment for PlayStation 1, and in the PlayStation 1, I can't remember what year, 95 I think it was in Europe. It was out almost a whole year beforehand, would you believe, in Japan, and it was it's a cracking piece. It was a cracking bit of kit. Really sort of. Sony smashed it with that. I mean, they didn't do first party titles, but they just opened that sort of soft thing up, and it's one of those ones that's very well known if you're sort of in your 20s and 30s. I think you kind of 30s, I think, mid-30s, you can kind of get that, and it's one of those things that's there for sort of 30-year-olds and whatever else it is. And I have very fond memories of the PlayStation 1. I think it was a cracking little 32-bit console. I have very fond memories of everything that I actually played on back in the day. But I also have created brand new memories as well, which is the fantastic part about sort of getting back into sort of collecting and doing whatever else it is that we like doing. Collecting, playing. I have to admit, I think I like playing as much as I like collecting. It's fun collecting. Yeah, it's very fun collecting. I mean, I had a post this morning. It was just massive, big pile of posts. Lots and lots of games from Nothing Spectrum related, I'm afraid, this time round. We got those ones from Retro Cavern the other day. They were fantastic. So, lovely chap. He actually sent me another game, because I've mentioned it in my video that he'd sent me the budget version of 3D Tank Duel, which is the one I wanted. It was the one I ordered. And I'd said in the video, and I obviously missed it when I was going through, that I really wanted the original, the one which has got a sort of a silvery lettering and the black sort of cover. I really wanted the original, but I didn't have it in my collection. And he sent that to me. What a really nice guy that was. He just popped it in the post. It was a complete surprise. It turned up, and it was really, really brilliant. So, I'm quite pleased with that. But as I say, pile of sort of retro bits and pieces and games and things turned up this morning. And they're not all. The funny thing about it is, vintage defines age, retro defines style, and that's the kind of if you look at the definitions. So vintage, anything over 20 years old is vintage. So in theory, automatically retro. Retro can be something that's retroized. You can get for instance, you could buy a modern tape sort of boombox type thing now that is effectively retro styled, but the point is that it's kind of I don't want to get into this one. I'm going to geek out on it, I'm afraid. So we don't. But anyway, I've got games that are from previous generations. That's a good word. Previous generations of consoles. One that's current, I suppose. I don't think 3DS is going to last much longer because of the Switch. I think it's going to be had its day. I'm sure they're making new games for it, and it's a very popular device. But I think the 3DS is at the end of a generation console. So I've been sort of collecting them, trying to find interesting and underrated games. I really like that. I had a little explore and I found some really good ones. I found some nice ones for the PlayStation 2, which I got a number of things turned up. I got a few of those as recommendations by a lady called Zoe, I think it's Kirkman, her name is. I think so. I might be wrong, but anyway, she's GamingHammer. I'll put a link in the description below to her, and you can have a little look. And she's trying to collect an entire collection of PlayStation 2 games. Really, really good. And I found some good games out of that. But I'm not buying sort of everything. I'm not collecting a lot. I'm collecting ones that look good or interesting, and I will actually play, because I like to play as well as I like to game. Anyway, or like to collect. Right, these should be the QWERTY keys. They're horrible. So the idea of the game is you've got to find the Saber Wolf, is that right? And then Night Lord's like the follow-up to it. And I'm trying to remember the keys. And that's me dead already. Daft me. Let's go up here. Go away! There we go, get them to go away. So it's a maze game where you've basically tried to find this Saber Wolf. Can I get past him? If I keep tacking, yeah, I can. The flowers do something as well, don't they? They give you extra powers. I think that's the general gist with the flowers. Don't see any point in not attacking. They definitely do something, the flowers. I know they do. So we've got to find this, like, I think it's an amulet of some sort. I've played this one enough, and I don't remember anything about it. How rubbish am I? That's invincibility, the red one. Yeah, I've played this loads, but I always forget the ins and outs of this. Now, as I understand it, if I remember rightly, and I may be wrong about this, I'm sure that the way that Ultimate, who created this, who then became Rare in Future Life, created this. They originally created this with something at the same time as Nightlaw, but they thought Nightlaw, with its isometric graphics and that three-dimensional look, was too revolutionary to release to the sort of the general public. It was because it was so different than anything else that had been previously before it. They were a little bit concerned about it. They didn't actually think that they would be a big winner. And to be fair, history goes and says, yeah, they were an absolutely brilliant winner. I think I'm going in circles here. Sorry, chaps and ladies. Going in circles here. Yep, that man there got me. I've got Saber Wolf's one of these games that I would like the original sort of cardboard box. It's about £50 that last time I saw it. Could be higher now. I would like it. I would like it in my collection, but it's not one that I'm actively going to go out and spend £50 on. I got the ones I really wanted, which are ones from my childhood. And as I say, I'm not what I would call a complete collector, if that makes sense. Do I need to scroll through them? Yeah, I do. Scroll through them. I'm not looking for complete sets. The only thing I'm looking for a complete set on is Master System games, simply because I think it's doable, and it's cheap enough. However, I'm getting to those 50, 70, £200 games now. It's getting a bit sort of close. However, I have a list, and there's only about 330 odd games that are actually in that I want. Right, I have coffee. I'm gonna have a quick sup before we move on to the next one. God, I love coffee. Coffee is the best. Right, let's go on. Let's see what we've got next. So this should be Penetrator. I remember playing this not too long ago. I'm quite convinced that this is a sort of Space Invaders thing. I'm sure it has volcanoes and all kinds of stuff, doesn't it? Or am I completely wrong? No, I'm completely wrong. This is the what's it called? Scramble, I think it is, clone. The one where you fly down the caves and shoot things. I'm sure that's the one that this is. Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that's what this is. So we'll see if it's there. But this tape is jammed to the gunnels. So although it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games on it, I suspect we're going to find more after the end of that. That wasn't a good thing. Let's rewind that a little bit. There we go. There we go. Last week was absolutely brilliant, actually, for tape loading. So I'm hoping for good things here from this one. So that was a little bit of rewind there, and we managed to get away with that. So I have some help in the background again. Last week my son decided he'd join me, so this week he is here again. You do want to say a few words to the listeners, or watchers and listeners? Some people watch and listen. Some people just listen. I think some people just listen. I think somebody put in the comments, they were talking to me. Oh, it's Twitter. Maybe Twitter, actually. Somebody was saying in Twitter. I think it was Twitter, actually. I think it was Jay, actually. Great site, Jay's, actually. Unfortunately, he's had a disaster. His Apple Mac has exploded. Now, Jay makes some fantastic sort of parody-style, dry wit... I think that's the best way of doing it. Dry wit, would you? I think you would say it was dry wit. Some dry wit type sort of videos on Spectrum games and games of the 80s and whatever else is. But I think he said during one of his Twitter things, he was kind of resharing for my sort of thing that I'm going to have to put loads of people down here. I'm going to write them down who we've got this week. But he sort of said that it was kind of a cross between a podcast and sort of a guide to games and reviews kind of thing. So I probably sums it up, I think. I may be wrong. Right, now I've got to remember who I was going to talk about in my comments. I know I've got... who did I have? I've had. Oh, I'm now gonna have to listen back as well. I hate it when I do that. Let me just try and think of this. So we've got Zoe at GamingHammer. We've got Jay, and who else did I say? Oh, I'll come back to me in a minute. I'll put Retro Cavern in there as well in case you're a collector and you want some to look at some games. He's definitely worth having a little look at. He's very fair in prices. He's what he calls himself a part-time seller, but he's got a decent website with a decent sort of checkout and whatever else is. And he's nicely communicative and whatever else. Very easy to work with. So yeah, I'm sure this is this in my. Do you know something? I'm so lost here with this because this could be Beam Software. No, I'm not sure now. We've played this game before, and I have no idea. Can you believe that? I can believe that, to be honest with you. I literally forget from week to week, to be honest with you. Things are getting more and more hectic as things are easing. You can see businesses starting to return. My workload has significantly increased. I had a couple of nights this week where I've been working, ended up getting up early, working late, to just keep up with things that are going on. And that's fair enough. It does happen. It's the nature of the beast. It's where that's where I make my money. And well, fortunately, actually, I wouldn't say unfortunately because I quite like where I work. So in fact, I like it a lot. A lot of freedom to do what I want. But anyway, Yeah, it's getting closer. It's getting closer to where I may or may not take a break. I'm still of the opinion I'll continue on. I won. That was the exciting thing. I won an eBay bid for a selection of said 50 games or 50 tapes. Now 50 tapes. There's a mixture of little sort of. Just general sort of tapes that are amongst that all, and there was a gentleman that I talked to in Spain, and he collects up those tapes, so I hate to see them go to waste. I'm never going to find the boxes for him. He takes them away though, and he works for the Spanish equivalent of Hit Squad, and I can't remember for the life of me what that's called, but anyway, he takes those, and I think they're remastering them, so they're taking them, and if they load, I guess they're remastering them so that they can reuse them from the tapes, I guess. I think that's loaded. Yes, it has. Whee! I remember the fireworks. Again, I still can't remember the game. No idea. I have a feeling it's the Scramble one that I was talking about, but I'm not sure. Look at this, writing it across the screen. Very exciting. Yep, there we go. Right, Beam Software. That typical noise from Beam Software. What was with Beam Software and that beep, beep, beep noise? Right, okay. Yeah, landscape editor is the one I'm thinking of. Right, 1. It's the cursor keys, I think. Yeah, it's Scramble, definitely. Or that one. Oh. What's up and down? That's up. Oh. That's down. Let's shoot though. That's a sound of the arcades, isn't it, from back in the day, that one. That's a bomb. That's up and down, that's a bomb. Right, okay. I do this every time, don't I? I should really just get the instructions out with these ones. I just do it. Knowing that what was on the tape, it might have saved me a bit of time, but anyway. Let me see. With the keys. Right, that's... Where's the shoot button? That's up. Ah! Rubbish! Is it 1 and 2? I'll try 1 and 2. Let's see if this is. Let's see if that's shoot. No, that's up and down. Ah, that's up and down. That's up and down as well. Let's see if QAOP and space work. Oh, that's a bomb. Yeah, QAOP. And what's the fire? Well, I can fire that. This is really good because you could actually have your own editor in it, so you could actually edit what you were doing. Now, I shouldn't be just doing some bombs. This must be a fire button somewhere. That's the bomb. So where would the fire be? I'm going to press the 1 again. I'm going to give it another try. Is there any way to do it? Can I? That's me. Can we skip this? No, I don't think we can skip it. Oh no! It's like an explosion of goodness. That's me. I'm excellent. Let's get to the button. I love that sort of where that beam noise comes from. I don't know why. 1. Let's see if I can find the fire button though. Where would you put the fire button? If you were going to put a fire button, where would you put it? Would you put it on number 1? No, you wouldn't. Would you put it on... Where would you put it? Enter key? Would you put it on the enter key? I think it's close enough to those to put it on the enter key. So like I always think of those sort of as arcade noises. You used to hear that noise a lot, didn't you? Do you remember that? I can't find the key here. Do you think it's shift cap? Do you think it's symbol shift or something like that? Let's try symbol shift. Because there must be a laser firing forward. Let's see what's symbol shift. Oh, that's bomb. I'm just trying buttons. Oh, it's annoying. But you get the general gist, and then there's a way to create your own levels for it. It's quite actually, it's not a bad version of this, to be honest with you. It's quite. I could imagine playing this with friends just to try and sort of see who could get furthest and whatever else it is on the thing. Even if I am absolutely rubbish at what I'm doing, and that missile was bound to get me because I don't know where the fire button for that is. Oh gosh, that's really annoying me. It really is annoying me. Actually, I can't find the fire button. Good game, actually. Shame River Raid didn't work though, because I think I've played that on my channel before. It's not bad at all. I don't know how I felt about it back then, but I did play, as I say, the Atari 2600 version of it. And I really quite enjoyed the Atari 2600 version. Did all right on it. Not brilliant. Not one of the games I played. I never had Atari 2600 back in the day. I had a friend who had one. He was a chap I used to go to school with, and he was a nice fella. But I used to go around and play that. And the game that I really liked was a game called Solar Fox, and I hadn't discovered that until obviously you get the old emulation of the whole thing. So let's push on anyway while we're doing that. You know, the old emulation of sort of that you can get nowadays, and sort of. I got the Atari 2600 collection, and I thought it was called Solaris. You know, but that's that movie, isn't it, with George Clooney in it, isn't it? It's got some beautiful graphics in that movie. Very purple. I remember it being very purple. I haven't seen it in years, actually. I might watch that again. I don't think it's very good. I think it's like mental disturbance or something similar in the whole thing. It's not brilliant. But anyway, so I hadn't had one back in the day, but my friend sort of had one. Anyway, I managed to look through this. I looked at, and there is a Solaris, I think, on the 2600. I think there is. Anyway, I had a little look, and it wasn't Solaris, so it was like must have been the next Sol kind of thing. And I had a little look through. There's lots of S's, and I finally found it, and it's called Solar Fox. And there's a version of it I played, I think, last week, wasn't it, on that What's on the Tape? And I was really quite impressed by it. You know, the one where you kind of zoom around. What was it called? I'm going to look at it. I'm going to see if it's there. Transvision. That was what it's called. Transversion. Transvision Vamp. Remember them? They were short-lived, weren't they? One of those. Oh, I always thought they were short-lived. Street Hawk. Now, this is a TV program. Can you imagine sort of Knight Rider but with a motorcycle? It's basically the deal. A 80s TV series. Was it 80s? Maybe early 90s, I think this one. I can't remember what the name of the chap was on the bike. This is where his name was Hawk, wasn't it? His first name was like Steve Hawk or something like that. So he would ride around solving crimes on his motorcycle, which had lots of gizmos. And did he have a turbo boost, or was that Knight Rider? That could be Knight Rider, wasn't it? Knight Rider was turbo boost. I remember Knight Rider more. I think Street Hawk. I don't know. I think I watched it, but I don't remember much about it. It's a bit of a blur. It's a bit like. I'd say it's a bit like, because I actually liked Airwolf. I used to like Airwolf. It was like watching the A-Team. Everybody loved the A-Team. The A-Team was a great sort of program. You'd have this massive all-out explosive thing, and everybody'd walk away from it. Do you remember that? Nobody died. The A-Team never killed anybody. They'd be shooting AK-47s all 30 minutes or so, or whatever long it was. 30, 40 minutes? Whatever the length of the episode was. They'd spend the whole time blowing people up and shooting AK-47s, and every single one of them got up afterwards. That was the nature of that TV. Do you remember that? Those are the days, weren't they? The 80s were the days when guns had unlimited ammo. Nobody ever reloaded. They just fired and fired and fired. And the only time that it would ever become a part of the action is when the gun would jam all of a sudden. That's the only time that it would become part of the action. Gun would jam. You know, they'd fire endlessly. They would hide behind teeny thin bits of timber, sort of tables or whatever else, and that would technically stop all bullets. You really? Yeah, right. Like, a couple of centimetres thick of timber's going to stop something flying at sort of 700 miles per hour, solid lead. Yeah, right. That's really going to stop it. But it did back in the 80s. Everything, I mean, you could hide behind a paper flipping towel, and it would protect you in the 80s from bullets. Live fire. As long as you had something like that in your way, that would be it. It was one of those things, wasn't it? So, but these programs kind of specialised that. No, there's nothing wrong with that. It was the way it was, but there was lots of things like that. Now something's flying through my head. Completely different from sort of, stuff. Was this early 2000s? I think this is early 2000s. Do everybody remember that? What's DSV? Deep Space Vehicle or whatever it was? Is that what it was? Deep Sea Vehicle. That was it. DSV. I'm sure it was called DSV. Might not be its name. You can tell me in the comments, because somebody will have watched it. That was weird, that one. I remember that one being a bit weird. Sort of like submarine kind of combat thing, dude, whatever else it is. It was on the same time as sort of Babylon 5 kind of thing, and I never got into that one. My other friends were like, yeah, you got to watch that, it's really good, and I never got into it. Never got into it at all. Babylon 5, totally different. Babylon 5 is awesome, by the way. That was a real push of technology. That was all created by original Amiga computers as well, actually. I think they were the 4000 models, so the proper commercial ones. They used to do the chart show with those as well, with the 4000s, and they used to use all those for animating all of the stuff in Babylon 5. What I would love to see and I know that there's somebody working on it. I'm sure there is a remaster of it with the whole thing done with sort of a remaster of. Oh, sorry, I'm babbling here, but a remaster of those graphics and just to do the show over the top of it again. You know, sort of remaster the show, remaster all the graphics. God, that would be awesome, would it not? I mean, seriously, all you have to do, you don't have to put any extra backgrounds in, all that kind of rubbish. You just have to remaster the ships so they look a little less old school computer graphics. You just need to literally put a filter of texture over the top, and I think that would be absolutely brilliant. Anyway, redefine keys. Let's hope I can do these. Up, down, left, right, space. That is cool. Right, start game. So I think you travel down the road first, and then you have to stop a crime. I think that's what they are. H to hold. That is cool. I've got that. Press the key. So there's our bike. Do I just push fire? Oh, I have to shoot those to load myself up with ammo. Oh, I forgot about this bit. What's this about? What are we trying to do here? Is that fuel? Rescue screen. Right, okay. This is not what I was thinking it was. This is not the Street Hawk I know. What's this? Is this another version of Street Hawk? By the way, it's cool if it is. I really like this. It's so weird. Wow, I'm like jumping around stuff. What's this about? That is not the Street Hawk I remember. I'm sure my Street Hawk I remember was totally different to that. Where's this come from? I'm sure mine had biking down the road and then stopping at a sort of convenience stores and shooting bad guys while you did it. That's just totally different. So I got... They're kind of... This is weird though, with them kind of floating up the top of the screen. So I've got like energy from that. Rescue screen. So I've got to rescue something. So that's my fuel there. There, I've got to rescue those people. Look at that. With the flying bike. There, I've got 2 rescues. 3 rescues. That's me rescued the lot. This is weird. Anybody else ever played this? I don't know what it's about, but it looks cool, doesn't it? What Street Hawk is this? I have no idea. This is not what I was thinking of at all. I kind of like it though. I've caught in the graphics at the bottom. I managed to land in the text at the bottom. So what have I got to do now? Level complete. Prepare for level 2. This is so weird. I don't mind it. I just find it different. I've got to power this up by hitting these spot on. If I fire too much, all my gunfire disappears, it seems. Revenge screen. Right, my bike's sort of damaged at the top there. It's just them getting their revenge on me. Or am I getting revenge on them? Maybe I'm getting revenge on them. My bike's getting a bit damaged there, look. This is weird. I like the graphics though, I like how bright it is. There's a screen there. Motorcycles versus bicycles. Well, motorcycles versus helicopters. What an interesting combination. I've never played that before. Anybody else played that version before? I don't remember that at all being like that. That seems really weird to me now. Wow, strange Street Hawk. A version that I would actually like to own in my collection. That's really weird. Okay, let's go on. This should be the key. Now, this will be interesting because I'm wondering whether or not they use the key to fill up the rest of the tape, because the tape is about a third through, so we're not really fully through, but we'll give this a load and we'll do it, and we can have a little look at the instructions. We'll go from there. We've got River Raid still to do, by the way. We're still going to go back and do that. We're going to get that one out. If I can see it handy, I'll pull it out and we'll do that. Hang on a second. We'll just have a look. River Raid. I'm looking up here. I'm looking on the shelf. Hang on. You stay there. I'll be back in a second. I think it's here. I think it's up here somewhere. You just stay there. That's the key. I found it. I found River Raid. You stay there. I've got it. I've got River Raid. There we go. I found River Raid, so we can load it from this tape. Actually, that might be fun. Yeah, I remember this. I used this quite a lot. No, I didn't. No, officer, I did not. Did not use this a lot to make lots and lots of copies of Manic Miner. Nope, wasn't me. I wasn't there. Can't hold it against me. It was 1980s. I was a miner. No, not one of those, because Arthur Scargill was no, not one of those kind of miners. But yeah. So now you basically insert the key to copy. Insert the tape to copy. It would load the tape into memory, and then after it had done that, it would then ask you to put a tape in and push the record button, push a key, and it would record it back to the tape. As simple as that. Really, 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 really brilliant. And really, really simple. Fantastic sort of thing. I like the way it's called the key. It's kind of unlocking it. But it wouldn't do the loading screens, if I remember rightly. It would only do like the data for it, because the loading screen is just a complete waste of time as its point of view. So you would kind of get a load with a sort of, without the loading screen and whatever else it is. So you push a key, start the tape, press the key. It would load. Break run pauses it. Sorry, that's me being naughty. But press the key, you'd load the game. I'm not going to do it, but it'd load the game, and then after that, it would give you a thing to save the game. Simple as that. How brilliant that is, that though. Whoever wrote that was an absolute genius, realistically. Sort of getting that high into the. I'm guessing that must have put it high in the memory somewhere. There was some things it couldn't do, and obviously you're limited by the 48K on the original 48K Spectrum. But every sort of 16K game was fair game by then. It really was for the initially for that. You couldn't get big games copied, but those little ones, great. It was also good if you had special tapes that you'd made that were a bit dodgy for loading. You could actually do that. And the other thing is, it would get rid of all the. I don't think it liked the turbo loaders. I think that was one of the things it didn't like. I think if it did do them, it would probably get rid of them. I don't know. If you did use it for anything that was what would be called a turbo loader, let me know in the comments below and say whether it did or didn't work. I can kind of imagine it. If it did, it would get rid of it when it saved it again, which would make sense, wouldn't it? Anyway, right, okay, let's go on and let's see what else is on this tape, because we're not done. We're most definitely not done. We are definitely going to carry on, and we're going to see what else we've got. Let's do this. Load it. And let's push the button. So I've got River Raid out as well, which got a lovely picture of a sort of is it an F-14? Would it be an F-14? Sort of more akin to rather than the F-15, the F-14 single-man piloted plane. It's quite good on the Spectrum. I've got this here, and we're going to load it from my tape, because I'm convinced it loaded the last time I did it, so we can do that. I'm going to see what it says on the instructions. I'm sure it says a river of no return. No, it doesn't. It starts with the other things in the silver range for the Firebird. I've said this before, and I must do a video on it. I actually have every white label version of the Firebird range, and I'm really pleased with that collection. Actually, to be honest with you, there's some good games amongst it, including Booty. Booty's an absolute cracking game, to be honest with you. Do you know? I think I've lied to myself here. I'm sure I said there was data further on this tape, and I'm now listening to nothing. This would be a very quick video if this is the case. We've got River Raid to do still. So I've got another. I won an eBay one, as I said before. 50 tapes, mixture of whatever else it is. That's coming with. I think it's got some C90s amongst it. All right. So there is something there. Rewind it a bit. I was a bit eager to go there. Buffer. I was a bit eager to fast forward there, and I think I've missed whatever was there, so let's go for it now. That should be it, hopefully. No, that's just data. So that didn't work. So let's see what comes after this and see if there's anything there. I'm going to rewind it a little further. It really doesn't like rewinding these tapes. It's alright going fast forwarding, but it does not like rewinding. It rewinds really slowly. It's like the tape's very heavy. I've had these before, and they've always been the case. And I remember it when I was a kid as well. My tape recorder always he'd sort of. It'd be happy fast forwarding it, but it wouldn't be very happy doing anything else. Now it's definitely loading. There's definitely something there. We've got that thing that says buffer, so we might do the load code on it and see what happens with the whole thing. Yeah, I must do a video on my white labels at some point and see if we can do it. Now, oh, here we go. That's the one that says buffer, right? I'm going to do load code on that and see whether we can get something out of this. So press the break key, load it, extended mode code, and we'll give this a try. We'll see if we can get anything out of this. Well, it's loaded it, whatever it is. Is there anything to run? It'll be code, so I don't know what I'm running, so it needs to run some kind of randomized tone on it. No, there's nothing there to load. Let's see what this next one says. So let's do load again. This will be more data, I guess, and buffer. Ah, right. This is another copying program. I've seen this one before. This Len. It's definitely another copying program. So they I don't know what they. To be fair, I don't know if this is any more difficult, but the key was a very easy one to use. So I can kind of imagine the reasoning why they might have chosen something else, and overwritten the tape with whatever they had. Right, I don't want to fast forward too far because I don't think it'll be a very long loader. So I'm just going to listen to that for a second and we'll go for it. So we'll try it. But anyway, so we've got some 90 minutes coming. That's really good. That's a good thing. I've still got a whole lot of 15-minute ones. So as I say, I might pick them out in batches to do them for future What's in the Tape, because we do need to get rid of some of these 15-minute ones. Maybe when I'm feeling a little bit less of the essence, a couple of 15-minute ones. If you take the load time and say they do load, that's 2 of them is 30 minutes, and then playing them is another 10, 15, 20 minutes. So it's a good 40-minute episode for two tapes. So it's not so bad realistically, but they're not always full to the brim, if that makes sense. But we can give it a try. We'll see how they go. What else was I thinking? I've been thinking a lot recently. Actually, doing a lot of thinking actually about it. With all the sort of things that have been going on and whatever else it is to do with the world at large. And I'm thinking a lot about it. Thinking a lot about what else I would like to do. I think I'd like to sort of if I can play some games that I haven't played any for a while. I'd like to play a few more Spectrum games, preferably things that were chosen by yourselves. I mean, if you want to choose some, put some comments below, and I'll see if I can give it a go. To be fair, I'm not adverse to trying other systems. So I'm not adverse to the Commodore 64. I'm not adverse to the Amstrad CPC, and I'm not adverse to the Spectrum. I do have a BBC B, which I really need to play on. I haven't actually had any time to do anything with it. It's got a modern day solution in it, so I don't need tape, so it kind of emulates a disk drive. Never really used it with any veracity. I really mean to. It's something I'd like to try. I have fond memories of the BBC, but only from school more than anything else. Nothing more exciting than at school, if that makes sense. So I remember the cost of them was the big thing, though. Parents just weren't going to stick their hands in the pocket for a BBC B. To be fair, I'm pleased they didn't. Spectrum's much better. Did I want a BBC B? I don't think I was bothered. I think I was just excited about getting an 8-bin computer of my own, or not my own, but one for the family, something that that generation, and sort of. I don't think I was bothered whether they got a BBC or whether they got a sort of a Commodore or whatever else. To be fair though, I've said this before. I didn't see very many Commodores where I lived. They weren't common, and I think because living in the deepest north of the United Kingdom, it's deepest north of the English side of the United Kingdom. You have to go to Scotland if you want to go really north. But I'm southern to them, by the way. The sort of the touching the border, of England. I think we just didn't. There just wasn't the money there. There was BBCs because there was the schools, if that made sense. I think these people sold them to schools, but I don't remember seeing them ever. I only ever saw. I remember going to a really big sort of. There used to be a high class sort of store, one of these big ones. Not. I would like to say our version of Harrods, but to be honest with you, it wasn't, because it wasn't anywhere near the price. But it was a version of that kind of high class sort of store, all those kind of haberdashery stuffs. I love the word haberdashery. I had to get that in there. And they used to have that all that kind of bits and pieces. And we used. I remember the entire sort of game section. And it was the first time I'd seen checkered flag as well, because I got my Spectrum was the rubber key, so I didn't get checkered flag. I know it was out, and I know it came with the Plus, but it didn't come with my Spectrum. I remember seeing it, and there was a whole line of them. It was the first time I saw Jet Set Willie, actually, to be honest with you. I couldn't afford it, by the way. It was too expensive for me. But first time I saw Jet Set Willie, and there was just a line of Spectrums. There was like 4 Spectrums and little 14-inch tellies, sort of colour tellies with them attached, and that was it. That was all there was. There wasn't any other computers. Just wasn't. That was it. ZX Spectrums. It was the only thing that sold around here, which is surprising, really, considering I can't find any tapes around here very often. But they were the only thing that sold, only thing that was out there. ZX Spectrums. No Commodores. No sort of, you know. I did see. Did I ever see the Amstrad CPC? Do you know something? I think my friend actually bought his Amstrad, or his mum bought his Amstrad CPC from a book. You know, in his catalogues. I think that's where it came from. I don't think it actually ever saw one in a showroom. I can't even remember seeing them in Dixon's and Curry's, and they were like the big sellers of these things back then, weren't they? It was Dixon's and Curry's, and everything was Dixon's and Curry's. This is not going very well, by the way. It seems very empty now, this tape. We've got River Raid, though. We've got River Raid. I'm just fast-forwarding now. But, yeah, I've got Dixon's and Curry's. And, you know, I didn't remember seeing them in Dixon's and Curry's at all, to be honest with you. There was, like, a few computer stores as well. Those were back in the days when there was a few, like, little computer stores and all this kind of stuff. Do you remember that? The sort of little ones, you know, little independents, those kind of things. Don't see those anymore. They just don't exist. There's no such thing as an independent or a little. Well, there is, but there isn't. If you know what I mean, you won't find it on the high street. There'll probably be an online shop, which is the equivalent of your independent thing nowadays. No, you can't go in there and type, you know, I don't know, bums into, you know, 10 print bums. Go to 10. You can't type that in anymore. I'm sure that's all we used to do with them, to be honest with you. Break them and put that in it. To be fair though, somebody must have a job in that sort of that special sort of, you know, high class store. It must have been somebody's job to come in and load those Spectrums every day with sort of Jet Set Willie and Checkered Flag and whatever else it's. In fact, that's where I bought my Checkered Flag from. I remember buying my Checkered Flag. See, nobody bought Checkered Flag after it came out with the Plus 2 as a sort of pack, was it? I think there was like 5 million of them sold Spectrums wise. There must be a million Checkered Flags out there. This is not going well. We have the sound of silence. I'm sorry about that. We've got silence. We've done it. We've finished that tape. I'm going to put in this. Yeah, we've almost finished that tape now. I'm going to put in River Raid though off this other tape, and we're going to load that now. Well, quite a short tape, I'm afraid, for the second side. But hey, last week was really good, and I do appreciate it. Mel went into a lot of trouble there, and he found it was. Oh, I assume he googled it, but either way, he went and found that tape, and then I went and found it on my shelf. So it was awesome, that wasn't it? That Select One with the by Computer Records. I don't even remember it, but it says as shown on TV. Can you imagine? Wonder if the advert still exists. Now there's a challenge for somebody. If you can find the advert, awesome. That would be so cool. Can you imagine? As seen on TV, Select One. Computer Records, the games, you know, with Hunchback and whatever else. I guarantee you, I can tell you how that advert went. That advert went along the lines of, now let me try and get this right. It'll probably have gone along the lines of, you know, by the masters of 8-bit programming, Ocean presents, you know, Ocean, Bug Bite, whatever else, the name of the companies that were there, present sort of Hunchback, and all on one tape for your low price of, you know, $6.99 plus postage and packaging. Include your postal order. You know, that kind of thing. That's how it would have gone along the lines of. You can imagine it, sort of that flashing banners spinning around and zapping on the screen. And it would have been advertised by a child with a joystick, wildly chucking it around while on the screen Hunchback didn't move very much at all. That would have been how it would have been advertised back in the day. And there would have been a family over his shoulder, wouldn't there? There would have been a mum and a dad looking really happy, and a sister who wasn't allowed to play it, but was there to add it all together. And they were all sort of, you know, and he's sat cross-legged on the floor, isn't he, with his waggling his joystick. You know, it's Games Master references there now, waggling his joystick. But while looking at the screen, while they all hunch over the top of him, you know, and look at the tape cassette, and they're so excited about it, and yeah, that's exactly how it would have gone, wouldn't it? Right, I think we are finished that tape. We are definitely finished that tape. That was a bit of, I feel. Do you know what though? What wasn't a letdown on there? Well, no, it wasn't a letdown at all. It was a good tape. I mean, with River Raid was a bit of a shame that it crashed, and then also had a little stop for in the middle of it all. But yeah, but we have got, and it loaded. That's another bonus, by the way. It did load, and we didn't get the data on there. I'm going to put this River Raid in now. I'm going to push the play button. But we got we got a good tape out of that. And that as I say, that Street Hawk. Gosh, I've never played that version before. It's really interesting. Now, that tape hasn't finished rewinding forward, and I've just put a pencil through the hole. You know how you used to put a pencil through the hole? But they made pencils smaller, so you can't wind it anymore. The same with the Bic Biro. It is now smaller than it was previously, so you can't wind it on with a pencil because it just doesn't want to move. Oh, it's so tight, this tape. It really is tight tape. There we go. You have to bend the pencil at a funny angle now. You can't. It doesn't work like it used to work. Isn't that bad? You got that somebody decided because we didn't have cassettes anymore, and by the way, they're coming back into fashion. But because we didn't have cassettes anymore, that pencils should be smaller, and pens should be smaller to save on timber, because like trees don't grow. Oh dear, what a sad person I am. Having a go at the trees now. Now this, is this going to be a different loader? This might be a different loader actually, possibly. Because it's the as I say, it's the Silverbird version. This is not the this will be the first release of it. Oh, that's not a good start. Ha ha! Oh, load tape error. Oh no! Do you know why? Because Muggins here didn't look at his tape. It's like a little. I've got these little red dots. You know these kind of red dots you can get for things. Sort of sticker red dots, just little round red dots. A couple of I don't know. No more than 5 mm in size. They have a little red dot, and I put red dots on the sides of the tapes that don't load, so that I know that they don't load. And I had decided then, quite rightfully, to load the side that doesn't load there. Well, let's go with the side that does load, and we'll go with that. We're going to go for that, and we're going to go for the... Yeah, don't make funny noises, just load the tape. Ah! Load it. I haven't pushed load it. It's too busy rewinding tapes there. Let's hope this loads actually. It's a bit sod's law that it doesn't load. Hey, tape's done with the pencil at a funny angle because you can't use a pencil anymore on things because it's just ridiculous and the whole world went mad and didn't make tape things that fit tapes anymore. Do you know what though? Do you not think that's more uncomfortable as well when they make them smaller that you can't actually do the... It's making funny noises. I'm going to put that back in again. It's making funny noises, so... Don't hear any data yet, but it's making funny noises. Well, we'll let it run for a bit and see if it does the load. It's right, it's not going to load at all, isn't it? Oh, there's data. Oh, thank goodness for that. For a minute there, I thought there was none on it. There we go. Yeah. Well, let's load it. Silly tape. Actually gonna finish a cup of coffee. Or I'll still have coffee left when I finish this one. This has been quite a short one, really, for me. Are we in under an hour, maybe, in total? Possibly. Over an hour. Just over an hour. Silence again. I think it has something against me, this River Raid. What are you doing? It's definitely... The thing is, I'm rewinding it and it's hearing something. Don't rewind it. There's nothing there. It's so weird. Horrible River Raid. Not being good. Not being good. Right. Huh. I wonder why that is. Let me try. Let me. Blah 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 blah. Let's see if I got it on my. Let's see if I got it on my phone. Is the answer to that question? Let's see if I've got it on PlayZX. If I haven't got it on PlayZX, I'll try it again, but with the other tape thing, because it's got it's one of these denial of distribution things. So it's not allowed to be distributed because of course it's owned by Atari at the end of the day, isn't it? Let's have a little look at this. Okay, let's have a little look, see if we can find River Raid. Not used this thing for a while, actually. Let's just load that up. River Raid. Here we go. Oh, there it is. The Firebird re-release is an awful lot longer. Isn't that weird? Let's get my tape thing. I think I had to do this last time round. We had one of these, actually, to be honest with you. I think we had to load it. We had to load that. I'm sorry we've had such a long space here of me actually just yakking away at you and not actually doing any tape loading. But we've got some now. We've got a tape loader. There we go. That's better. Oh, right. And I have the keys as well, which is really handy because they're written down in that manual there. So it's 2W. OP and any key on the bottom keyboard to move. Not a bad game, actually. It's not bad at all on the Spectrum, and to be fair, as a re-release, it's not bad. I wonder what it looked like in the original Activision. I never looked that up. I should really look that up at some point. See what the original Activision release looks like. I don't think I've ever seen the real original Activision release. I've only ever seen it as the sort of the re-release from Firebird. Excellent. Right, we'll get some more coffee in me. I need some more fuel. We'll get moving. Oh, I love coffee. Coffee is brilliant. Excellent coffee. That's better. River Raid. Mind you, to be fair, I did that before. Who's it written by? Adapted by Software Conversions Limited. By Pa Carol Shaw. Or designed by Pa Carol Shaw. Okay. Or is it Pa the French or something similar? Or is that what I'm misreading here? 1982. Activision. Still alive today, Activision. I remember being back in the day quite liking Activision. They're not seen as such the nice guys nowadays, but I remember being back in the day, and I was really disappointed when they decided they made a shift. I remember this shift as well. They made a shift to starting programming games, and they kind of ditched the European market, and I was actually quite upset about that. And it wasn't too long after Ghostbusters, I'm convinced of it. They decided that they would concentrate on the US sort of American side of the sort of industry, and I was quite disappointed. I remember being quite disappointed at the time. It was short-lived, remember, though, because they certainly came back with a vengeance, but they weren't making the money they were making, and it just seemed a bit of a weird thing. But it's always a shame when things disappear, if that makes sense, like that. Been really, I mean, I've been saying this earlier in the thing. I'm really enjoying various bits and pieces at the moment. One of my other little side projects, not quite Spectrum related, is that I'm trying to soft mod my Xbox, which is quite an easy thing to do if you've got the right software. So it allows me to replace the hard disk, which is most definitely on its way out. You can't just swap them because of weird and wonderful locking mechanisms. But that's currently ongoing at the moment. I do need to repair, and I think, as I said earlier as well, my Sensei. I think I'm gonna have a go myself. I think I'm gonna get the old soldering iron out again and take those capacitors off and replace them in that tape drive. It's been such a lovely little tape drive, and yeah, okay, fair enough. It's not particularly expensive. It was made in Hong Kong. It was obviously a freebie that came with a batch of games that I got, including a Spectrum, which is very nice, and it worked, and it's worked for the time that I've used it. So there's at least 3 or 4 years that I've actually been using it for. But it would be quite nice to finish off the get it back and working again. So I give it a little refurb and tighten up all the belts and all that kind of stuff, and just get that working again. Because I quite like it. It's very old school though. The fact that the soldering's just so, I don't know, so old fashioned in its look. It's so. It's so somebody did it by hand, not machined, and all this kind of stuff. And the detail it's quite large and bulky in the way it looks, but it's very basic, and it does exactly what it should do. The mechanism even for the tape drive is what I would call quite slim. So it's quite a nice little thing when you open it up. I thought it was quite nice actually. Just to say, it's a shame it's not survived the process, unfortunately. I wonder how long this has got to load. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna look at the phone. It's almost there. Almost time for River Raid. I'm looking forward to trying this one actually. Got to press Cap Shift, I think it is, to start it. There we go. Right. So 1 for keyboard. There we go. Let's move my phone out of the way. Number of games, number of players. Press the corresponding key. Game 1. That's it. And any key on the bottom low and shift or enter to start. So let's press the button. Cap shift and enter to reset. How do I play? Enter. Here we go. So you basically have to fuel up your plane. Shoot down these for extra things. There's like these boats that are fuel. You got to be careful not to explode them. So it gets your fuel back up again so you can carry on. And you basically fly along, shooting up everything goes along. I actually quite like it. As I say, oh damn, that was a mistake. So you got like a time element in the sense of fuel. Got to watch out for these things. They get more and more. It gets tougher and tougher as it goes along. Actually, to be honest with you, I'm not sure how I felt about it when I first played it, or certainly on my channel. I must look that up at some point because I might have been. I don't know whether I was flattered it or not, but I quite like it actually. I like it more since I replayed it with a view to playing it on on sort of the when I was watching sort of dads and lads playing it. I kind of got the feeling for it. Definitely feel it's a pretty good game. Oh, it's actually easier on the Spectrum because the plane's so much smaller. On the Atari 2600, the plane is quite large. Oh, it plays very well. There's my next bridge. Blow that up. We got balloons coming in. I don't remember seeing them on the Atari 2600. I don't think they did. I think they had like these cyan-coloured jets. This really plays really well, actually. I can see me enjoying this a lot longer than did the Atari 2600 version. I'll tell you what my problem with the hitboxes are weird on the Atari 2600. You had to hit things spot on in the centre, whereas the Spectrum version you seem to be able to kind of hit bits of it and it'll blow up anyway because it's made contact with the hitbox. Let's blow up that fuel thing. That's cool. We've got that. Doing all right actually. My big worry here is fuel, not actually the items. The fuel seems to be will be my sort of Achilles heel as such. Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's rare to see me doing okay on things. Usually absolutely rubbish at it. I think that practice has really paid off on the 2600. Well, certainly the emulator anyway. Yeah, stop that tank getting on that bridge there. He doesn't care. These are the planes. They were horrible in the Atari 2600 version. They come across at an angle instead of coming straight like that did there. They came at an angle down the level. Oh, horrible, horrible, horrible. Fuel's at desperate levels. Fuel's going to be my killer. Told you. That's the one that killed me. I must be on the easy level, by the way, here. Must be on really easy, because I've got loads of lives left. Yeah, we're doing well. I'm going along here. I'm doing alright, actually. Good for me. I think if we put it on the harder level, we're going to see an awful lot, be an awful lot more difficult. I think we should try that. What do you think? If I can quit it at some point, we'll give that a try. So got to sell a tank there as well. Bonus points for tanks. Hey, dodged in and out of that. Let's get a bit of this fuel stuff. Got to slow down for the fuel. That's me getting a full tank. Look at that. It's cool, isn't it? Don't miss an opportunity to fuel up. Never miss an opportunity to fuel up. Look at that. Here we go. Boat. Another. Wait for the tank. Wait for the tank. Extra points. Get that tank. Yes. I was getting too busy there, looking for the scores. It actually plays really well. I'd have been delighted if I'd got this on the Specky, you know, back in the day. I think I could see me playing this for a while. That tank's just shooting into the water. Adding a level of difficulty there, a new thing. Avoid the impact as well as avoiding the boat. That's. Missed the tank though there. Missed the tank for those extra points. It's going well though. It's a bit of a shame that didn't load off the tape though. Only did it the once. It's always bad though if you've already got one side that doesn't load. Right, let's go up here. Oh, I should have slowed down for that one. Should have slowed down that one. We could have most definitely got another. Here we go. Boom. Got him on the boat. And another life. I'm doing so well. I think I could be on here for hours. That's worked. That plays really well. Better than I remember from last time I played it. To be fair, I can't remember what it was like last time I played it. I probably hated it, did I? Can't remember. Oh, it'd be so embarrassing if I hated it, because actually it's really good. Pretty simple. But works really well. Lots and lots of fuel there. That helicopter's gonna have to blow up. Oh no! I was trying to get clever there. 9 bridges down. Wow! I wonder how many bridges I can shoot down. I got quite a few bridges though. That's quite cool. An opportunity there to get some. There we go. Got ya. Got it. It's just so simple. It works really well. Some of these simple early arcade games and games that like this are just so good for this kind of stuff. Really, really, really simple. Well, we're into some narrower areas here. It's funny though, because I'm flying a plane, so theoretically I should be able to fly anywhere. But no, I will collide with the things if I run into them there. Let's go over here, and I'm going to go for some slow down fuel. Yeah, let's get some fuel. Slow right down. Get the fuel. Boom, boom. 10 bridges down. Oh my goodness, I just shot the thing for no reason at all. Let's wait for the tank to get on it. Boom. 11 bridges down. Wow. This is a good challenge game, isn't it? Can you imagine this one for people? I bet you could play this one for hours. Ooh, close. Ow! That was idiotic behaviour there. I was trying to avoid the bullet and then try to, I don't know, get fuel and all kinds. Silly me. Got myself confused. I'd like to see what it's like on the hard level, actually. I know I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm gonna go crash, and I'm gonna see what levels are like further on, because I think it'd be quite interesting to see what that's like, actually. I wonder if it gives the options to do that. Are you gonna go back to the title screen, or is it just gonna be continue? Game over. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Good score as well. What's it gonna do though? Is it gonna let me go back? Was it cap shift and enter to reset the game? No, that's that one. Shift and enter? No, that's not what it is. That's just game one. It doesn't seem to be giving me Let's just crash into that. I'm sure it said something about... Was it symbol shift and enter? There, that's it. Symbol shift and enter. So 1 for keyboard. Let's go with game number 8. Starting bridge is 30. This is going to be tough. So number 7, sorry. Right, let's press enter to fire. So we've done 30 bridges already, so this is going to be chocker with stuff. So this is what you'd be like if you'd got 30 bridges on. Wow, 30 bridges on. This is the hardest level. It's not that bad actually. Good bit of concentration, you'd be alright, to be honest. I think your biggest problem is going to be fuel. I think that's the one that's going to kill you. Plenty of scoring opportunities as well, of course, at this level of the bridge. Yep, got him. And the hitbox obviously being all over the whole thing. So the hitbox is like where it says the impact occurs from your shot. Because it's like anywhere around those things, it's pretty good actually. That's an excellent feature on the Spectrum anyway. I'm running short of fuel, speeding up here to see if I can get some. The fuel's going to be the killer. Yeah, there you go. It's fuel's going to get you on this, on the extended, on the later versions. Yeah. Well, I'm going to leave it there anyway. So, yeah, that's River Raid on the ZX Spectrum. Anyway, that was really good. I enjoyed that. I hope you did too. Anyway, I've been your host, Real Generic Demon. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye now.